Happy F175 Live Day!
Woo! Or as I like to call it, it was the Victoria's Secret fashion show of the motorsport world, of the F1 world. It was.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
It was.
It was.
They were giving that same energy.
But was it executed?
Yeah, but it was their take. Like,
yeah, it was
that
it was
thing.
their version of the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
I reckon it was.
It was giving fashion show energy.
Yeah, it was giving. That's what I said. That's what I thought. Anyway, it was this morning for Australia time.
Yeah, this morning for us. It's funny because I went into Pilates this morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's at 7. Pilates is at 7, so I was late. I was like, Elle, where am I watching this? It's like I had a complete mind blank that I was going to watch it on KO.
Because it's been what?
Because it's been so long. I was like, where do I watch it? I was like, it's like Miss Universe. I was like, where can I find it? I love
Miss Universe comparison. It was good though. It was good. I know, like, we want to get into it and we want to talk about sort of what happened and everything.
Let's talk about first what's gone on in the world.
Okay.
In F1.
Yes. Where do you want to start?
Well, I saw some little rumblings, which these rumblings we hear all the time about Seb Vettel being back in F1.
We hear it all the time.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. I don't think he's coming back unless he was like a team principal, but I don't think he's that sort of business person. And I don't know, I think when we discussed it last year, because I love Seb.
Oh, who doesn't?
Like, actually, after I watched F175 this morning, KO just kept playing and they played one of the Seb Vettel victories afterwards on KO, just one of his races. And I was like, oh my God.
Blast
that. It was Melbourne. It was even Jensen Button and Mark Webber. I was like, this is a real blast from the past.
That is a real blast from the past.
That they just like played that rerun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Seb, I think he's too environmentally conscious.
Yeah, agreed.
I just can't say, like, as much as I'd love it, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, neither do I. It's wishful thinking.
What were they saying?
Oh, just the standard, like, oh, he's been seeing here, like, is he going to be back? Is he going to be back?
Oh, he's always seen somewhere.
He's always seen somewhere. Yeah. Georgie boy, happy 27th birthday to you.
Oh, God.
Happy 27th birthday to you. I always think he looks older, like, because he has quite mature energy.
He does. Or does George Russell have mature energy, or is he just really well media trained?
Yeah, you're a bit about him.
I don't know. We've discussed this before, actually even earlier today, and I'd love to know if our listeners feel the same. We're both very open people.
Yeah.
If someone was like, show us your most intimate thing, we probably would just be like, oh yeah, do you need to compare it to something? Like,
literally.
And I get suspicious of people that are very secretive. Because I'm like, what have you got to hide?
Yeah, so do I.
We're human. We're only human once. And I don't know, it's the same thing with really well media trained people, because it's like when you see a persona of someone on Instagram or TikTok and you fall in love with this like idea, they're like 9 times out of 10 they're putting on a character.
Yeah. No, I agree. But like, honestly, besides Lando, I think they're all like that. It's not just George. They're all like that.
I feel like some of them are a little bit more looser.
Yeah. Like, probably Lando's the only one that's loose. And even still, he's still like media trained. Like we've said this before, that they're they're like so protected. Okay. But anyway, happy birthday. Well, happy birthday from me to you, George. Hey, did you see Kelly Piquet's baby shower?
I know, she's looking so good.
In Miami, she had a boat party. The cake looks so good. You know, I always.
She had it in Miami.
Why?
Because she lives in Monaco.
Yeah, but like Miami boat party.
I know, but then sense. And days later, Max had to be.
And she probably, but she probably has like a lot of friends there as well, and it probably just made sense to do it there.
Okay.
You know.
The life of the rich.
Also, it's warmer in Miami than Monaco.
The rich and the famous.
Yeah, it's much warmer. So they had like guaranteed nice. She probably visualized a boat party, and at this time of the year, she's not going to come to Australia. So
maybe their yacht wasn't ready that they just bought.
I don't think it is ready. Yeah.
Or
maybe that was the plan.
Maybe it was still in Miami, and then because they were sailing it over, they wouldn't be sailing it over. Maybe someone was bringing it over.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's how they get them over by water.
They do. They do. Yeah, they sure do.
Was it in Miami? I don't know where
they went to go visit their yacht. Maybe the plan was that their yacht would be ready by then, and they would do the boat party on then, and then that didn't happen, and then they had to go and hire another boat.
Interesting.
But she looked gorgeous. Looked like a very fun baby shower. F1 Academy
Yes.
I've just got my phone up because there's a few driver announcements.
Oh, okay. Run us through.
So Aurelia Nobles,
Yeah.
she has re-signed for Puma. Congratulations.
Well done.
So continue to race with Art Grand Prix. Maya Weig, it's W-E-U-G, Weig.
If you can't pronounce that.
I know.
The queen of pronunciation.
Maya
Werg.
Maya Werg. She actually got P3 last year, like ended up at P3.
Oh, nice.
Which is pretty good. So yeah, she's re-signed for Scuderia.
Yeah.
And then also Tina Holzman, she's re-signed with Aston Martin for the second year as well.
Oh, awesome.
So really exciting to see
them popping up.
Yeah. And then actually also Shi Wei also re-signed.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, she was a wildcard entry.
That's right, because F1 Academy has wildcard entry. It's interesting to see because a lot of the girls obviously from F1 Academy last year have now left to see how they progress. This is going to be the real test if F1 Academy is working.
Yeah.
I think in 2-3 years time we'll know more if it's worth the investment from F1.
Yeah.
Like if they're like jumping up the ranks even to like F2 and all of that. Becoming a reserve driver eventually. That's when we'll probably see the first thing, like being a reserve driver in 2-3 years time.
Yeah. I think as well on that topic, I know we did post about it on our socials, but Jo, I don't know if some people saw Jo. She's racing in the Jo Ciconti, who we interviewed. She's in Spain at the moment, racing in the European Series, Winter Series, and she was doing pretty well. Like she's kind of like in the middle. I think the person right above her was in F1 Academy, so she's
and a lot older than her as well.
And a lot older than her. Yes, that was another thing to mention.
Yeah.
So
Aussie girl going strong. She just turned 16 as well. No longer 15.
Yeah, she's 16 now, so she can go for her L's. For international listeners, you have to like get your learner's permit. So she can go for a learner's permit now, which is hilarious that she can drive on a racetrack but doesn't have her learner's permit.
How do you think that would go down when you go to do your driver's test and you've got like the instructor sitting next to you?
I think
and they'll ask or like, how do you think you're going to go with this test and stuff? And you kind of have to be like, well, actually, I'm a professional driver.
I feel like there's a higher chance that you don't pass because you're so used to like driving a certain way.
Yeah, but you also have to follow like rules as well and like be so aware of all your surroundings, which is what kind of like, I get what you're saying, but also when you're driving on the street, you have to be aware of your surroundings a lot as well. So they're hyper-focused and I don't know, just imagine telling the driver and instructor, sorry, I'm actually a professional driver.
I'm actually a better driver than you. Yeah. I just noticed before, Romain Grosjean is in Melbourne.
I want to know what he's doing here so early.
So do I, because he like tagged OzGP, and we're still how many weeks away?
About 3
weeks away. So is he going to be here this whole time? Like, what's he doing? Someone let us know, please. Why is Romain Grosjean still here?
Interesting. I wonder what he's doing. Well, I've got a little bit.
Oh,
and I'm just going to read this name out. So I hate that I'm on my phone, but sometimes we just got to do things. The first driver ever to be fined under the new rules for swearing. Yep, after using the F word in an interview, Adrian Formeau has to pay 30,000 euros.
I think it's 30,000 pounds, isn't it? Or it's euros?
No, that's euros.
30,000 euros, yeah.
Yep. The European Queen here
says, sorry, I'm like pulling it off you. The first 10,000 euros must be paid within 48 hours.
How?
He also looks like that's a lot of money for him.
Yeah. So Ollie
Rally
Behrman
champion
has actually come out and said that if he gets fined, he actually can't afford the fine.
Oh.
Because he's not making that much money.
Oh.
Yeah. Of all these sponsorships and stuff, because it's expensive to be in Formula 1.
Yeah. Oh.
I know Max Verstappen was asked about the rules at the F175, and he was just like, I'm not going to comment on that because I'll get in trouble.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
So
Wow.
Yeah, poor Ollie, he's like, I hope I never swear because, well, how do I pay for that?
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Oh, I'd be screwed.
Yeah, well, it's only 60,000 Australian dollars.
Oh.
For saying fuck.
Yeah.
There we go. Maybe they can donate it to us, advertise on the podcast.
Where is the money going, FIA? Where is the money going?
They could put it back into the FIA when they take this money from swearing and the fines and all of that.
Yeah.
I'd love to know where it's going. And one of the places that I think it should go back into the F1 community, offering scholarships, initiatives.
That's a good
maybe
one.
Maybe if it's go-karting, maybe if it's media networks,
money
like
should go
females for us.
Yeah.
But I think there's an opportunity there for them to do something rather than just taking it for profit.
Yeah.
Or
go to F1 Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are places that need investment that are more grassroots that need it. And I think that's where the FIA should be investing their money. Grassroots. I'm passionate about that.
Love it.
You know what else I'm passionate about?
What?
Monaco 2 pit stop strategy. I said this last year. I got very aggressive on the podcast when I said this.
You did.
I was like, there needs to be a
shake-up.
A shake-up. And it needs to be a mandatory 2 pit stop strategy.
Yeah, I think it's a really good call because, you know, there's been a lot of talks about, like, is Monaco done? You know, I've felt very strongly that no, Monaco can never be done because it's iconic. And obviously it's, like, not the most exciting race on the calendar, but
this is what would change it.
Yeah, this is the shake-up that Monaco needed.
I mean, a lot of people said when I saw this pop up that this might be happening, and usually when we see these things sort of popping up like in this capacity, yes, they tend to start being true.
Yeah.
I think it kind of has to be true for Monaco because there's zero opportunity of takeover. Qualifying is where you pretty much win the race.
Yeah. Unless, like, there's rain and then someone spins out.
Well, that's what everyone said. It'll be really interesting if, like, there's no tyre degradation during the race and they have the 2 pit stop strategy. Because then that won't change very much. I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah.
There was also a lot of people saying online, I'm not sure if you read the comments.
No.
But people being like, well, if they're going to do it in Monaco, it has to be done everywhere else. And I don't know if that's true.
No,
I think there are some
disagree.
races that it should be 2, but some races it just stick to the 1.
Yeah, I disagree with that. Like, every race is different and every race, you know, has different elements to it, and Monaco, this is needed. Like, this shake-up is needed. There are other races that are, like, complex enough circuits where enough happens, where you don't need to have these, like, mandatory things. And again, Monaco is iconic. It's not like they're saying, like, I don't know, no offense, Budapest. Like, it's not like they're saying, oh, we need this mandatory pit stop at, or this mandatory second pit stop at somewhere like Budapest, because it's a great race, it's a great circuit, but it's not iconic. It's not. It doesn't have the same. I mean, people that don't even know about F1 know about Monaco. So
yeah, it doesn't have the star power.
It doesn't have the star power. It doesn't. Yeah, I mean, there are people that purely know about Monaco because of the Monaco GP. So yeah, I think it's a great call.
I'm excited for that one.
Me too.
That's the latest from me on the F1 updates this week.
I love it. Shall we get into 75 Live?
75 Live. Welcome to the 75 Live.
Oh, 75 Live.
Can I start with my worst moment
Yeah.
from watching the whole thing?
Yep.
Oh, no, now I want to start with my good moment. No, I'm going to start with my worst moment.
Go on.
Or what do you want? Good or the bad?
Go. I don't care. Go. Go bad first.
All right, bad first.
Yeah.
So, if you weren't watching the 75 Live, or you just want a bit of an understanding of what it is, essentially 75 years of F1, and all the cars revealed their livery. And that was it.
And I should mention as well, you know, we spoke about this last season. There was this massive hype. Oh my God, it's 75 Live. Like, it's this whole thing. It's so exciting. Like, all the liveries are going to be shown at once, which is also, because typically we get, like, scattered dates.
And they release the date that they're going to do, and they do an internal launch party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And each team kind of manages what they do.
Yeah. So they kind of managed what they did, but on this big scale in the O2 Arena, and they put on this big performance. It's a massive stage. There's guests everywhere, blah, 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 sitting down, having tables, all the drivers walking in on the red carpet, blah, blah, blah. Each team, essentially, they have like a little promo reel, and then the car comes out. Now, Red Bull's promo reel was this ad going through London, advertising Ford, and showcasing all the different cars. There's a lot of Cadillacs. There's a lot of like, a lot of London things and London people and like taxi drivers and things like that. All
Iconic London.
Iconic London. And it just went on for fucking ever, just like that sentence that I said. It just went on and it was so boring. And then
Oh god.
the sheet comes up on the stage, and it just comes up, and then the car comes out, and you see Max and Liam. And by the way, Max has already expressed last year, he's like, this sounds like a shit idea, I don't want to be there, I'm
Also-
going to be sick on that day.
Also, we all know how Max reacts to anything that hasn't got to do with racing.
Exactly. And he's already said, I wish I
sourpuss.
was sick. Like, he didn't want to be there. Like, he's been telling us for months he didn't want to be there.
Oh.
And he and Liam walk out beside this car looking fucking dead bored, waving like they're obligatory.
Sorry, you should mention as well, like, the flash mob behind them.
This is what I'm about to get to.
Yeah.
So they're waving like this, bored as anything, no smiling.
And Liam was excited.
Oh, for like the splitters of seconds. I watched his face 99% of the time, and he was like flat faced.
I reckon because he's trying to be cool and going off Max's
This
energy.
fucking flash mob with him with the weirdest energy. It may have come off differently if you were there in the O2 Arena.
People need to watch our YouTube to get the visuals. You're talking, you be Max and Liam.
It was just like so awkward, and it did not come across well at all on the broadcast. It was exactly like this, how Pat is dancing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is exactly, what I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. I will be talking about something important in F1, and she'll just be standing there, just dancing and doing this. And I would love to be able to have
a serious
conversation with you.
I know.
I'm joking,
Okay, yeah.
that was more of that, but like that was also my worst moment.
Okay.
Worst moment for you? Do you have a worst moment?
What was your favourite? Well,
my favourite moment was probably
she hasn't got one.
Jack Whitehall.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
I love Jack Whitehall.
Yeah, he's so good.
So I loved that,
I really
and
liked
I
that
loved
they had
his very gentle roasting that he did. That was great. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I feel like we were so excited when we heard about 75 Live. We're like, fuck yes. Sorry, FIA. This is going to be amazing. And I'm in two minds about it. Like, okay, for starters, I was really annoyed that they just didn't go all out and make it like black tie gala.
Actually, I had that thought as well, because half the drivers, not half, less than half, come very dressed up, well dapper. Oscar Piastri looking von Fleck.
And Lewis Hamilton with his red tie. But again,
he copied the Mick Schumacher outfit when he first signed with Ferrari.
Okay, well.
That was all symbolic. But then Liam Lawson coming out in his fucking like...
Yeah.
I think he couldn't have looked more New Zealand.
Well, do you know what? I don't know. I just think you know that I like to get dressed up, and I just think sometimes like the way we dress, like, respect yourself, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And like guys with just their people love commenting on how women dress. Well, I'm going to comment on how men dress. I hate a collared shirt just unbuttoned with nothing under, like with no tie. At least Lewis Hamilton had a tie, like. But there is nothing more handsome than a man in a tux. It kind of annoys me that it was like red carpet gala vibes. Jerry Halliwell, I'm talking about women, but like Jerry Halliwell, she was in this like weird lumpy jumper. Looked like she was just like, it was like when she's in Drive to Survive and she's filming in her kitchen. And everyone, like, it was weird. And then like some of the Sky News presenters were like really beautifully like dressed up in gowns, and then there's people, like, it was just very mismatched. I didn't like it.
The organisers of that event did not communicate to anyone on what the dress code was going to be.
Correct.
Even watching on social media a bunch of people going, as in like F1 creators and all that sort of stuff. Some of them I saw, and there's one in particular, like Maddie White was like, oh, this is going to be a black tie.
Well, that's what I assumed.
It's red carpet, and so she gets really dressed up, but then she pairs it right back down because she said, "Oh, apparently people are wearing pants or something." She said something along those lines. But then I saw other people like just not dressing up. Hard Rock Cafe or something like that was like providing food.
Yeah. Okay, that was the other thing. Was like, okay, kind of reminded me. I'm not going to name shame, but at my previous job, which is a department store, they do like a gala, and there's at a place in Melbourne, and there's tables. And it is a black tie, but I don't know, you know that vibe when you just kind of go to like an average event and there's like the tables, and I don't know, they were like, wasn't really even like, they didn't even do like a nice table setting or anything. and then like you'd see the camera and you just see the wait staff like kind of standing there in the background. I just think like production wise it was bizarre.
It was off. I mean, even Charles and Lewis were playing chess. They were bored.
Yeah, that like the drivers as well. So that really bothered me. I think as well, it was weird because it's like there's table settings. So there's people at tables, and then there's obviously people that like paid for tickets or got invited, and they're like a concert. So they're sort of sitting in like concert, which I'm like, I probably honestly like if I got the chance, I wouldn't pay after seeing what I saw. Unless I was invited, I probably wouldn't go.
No,
unless I was at a table.
Yeah, I think what they should have done, and it would have lowered the whole cost production of this, is that they just had a really intimate space.
Agreed.
And they live broadcast that.
Agreed.
And it was just the F1, like maybe key stakeholders and things like that. And it was a live broadcast, but then maybe they wouldn't have had as many eyeballs on it from participants. I don't know.
Yeah. That, like, it was such a massive marketing moment, and then it kind of, and then
it was very anticlimactic.
Anticlimactic. And then I sort of like my brain started thinking as well. I'm really intrigued to know, like, you know, because there's teams with a bigger budget and there's teams with a smaller budget. Like, did F1 give each team a guide of like, okay, you get a 10-minute slot, you can do what you want. So, like, you know, for example, Steak were the first ones, and they had like drummers coming out, and they're like,
their livery looks amazing, by the way.
Their livery does look amazing. And it was funny because like Mattia Binotto, his team principal now, he's walking out, and him and like Gabriele are kind of looking at each other like, do we go now? Do we go now? Like they had, okay, we're walking. Yep, we're walking. So they went, and then like, oh, it's interesting, nice liveries, but like Visa Cash App. Hajar and Yuki had to like pull the cloth off the car themselves, and they're like trying to pull it off.
A lot of them pulled the cloth off themselves. Max and Liam weren't interviewed.
Yeah, they weren't interviewed. But I'm like, okay, did they also? I'm intrigued to know how much typically a team would pay, like how much they would spend on a typical car, like on a typical livery launch, as opposed to like what they have spent for 75 Live, you know?
That's a really good question.
And then I wonder,
was it cheaper for the teams to do this way with 75 Live than it was
probably.
Yeah.
But then also I'm like, I wonder, did like F1 give them a cap of their spend or not? So like some teams didn't go way too, then like the flash mob, I don't know, there's just so much going on.
I also think that there's something to be said though for like the power of social media, that you can just put out, like they command so much attention. These teams could literally put out a post or a cool video and that's it. And it goes viral instead of this. I just don't know if it was the right call for F1 to do it like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it's obviously significant, 75 years. I'm sure maybe they'll do something similar for 80 years. But I did like, the one thing that I did like was, I loved the sort of like roasting, and it was funny that, you know, like Max Verstappen at the beginning, and then they mentioned like, oh, we could have sat you next to George Russell. Like that was funny. Those sorts of things where we kind of got to see the drivers in a bit more of a like different light.
Space, but then you see media trained George just like, and Jack Whitehall's like, have you sorted it out? And George is just like, I'm smiling, by the way, if you're not watching this. He's just like, he's just not nodding, not shaking his head. He's being very polite.
I thought it was funny when he's like, the most handsome man in F1. I'm thinking like, Carlos. And then he's like, Charles. I was like, oh, okay. And then he's talking to some of the Sky News presenters, and he's like, sorry, I've just been lost in Charles' eyes. Like those things were really funny, and I really liked that, and I love the concept of that, like having like the drivers in that setting where they're not commanding the room, where someone's commanding their room, and they're kind of having to like be slotted in. But in terms of like excitement with the liveries,
Alpine,
sorry, pause for Mel getting up. Alpine was my favorite.
Alpine
and I really like Steak as well. I know it gives Ben 10, but I really like Steak and Visa Cash App.
Yeah. And Red Bull hasn't had a white car since 2021.
Yes.
Was their last white car, so it's nice to sort of have that back in the mix. But the new Red Bull car looks exactly the same. Ferrari, now I want your opinion on this. They're red. Sorry if you hear some click-clacking, that is my dog currently walking around. Their red is a lot deeper, it's a lot darker now. But also then on their front wings, it's just white with HP on it. How do we feel?
Sorry.
Pat is
Pause.
distracted by the dog.
Hello, my angel. Oh, how do you feel about Ferrari?
HP. I just want to know how much they're paying. I really want to know how much they're paying. I think it's nice seeing something different with like the white wing, but I don't love it. I'm a classic Ferrari girl, and yeah, I don't love it. We all know how I feel about the HPs being slapped on, but yes.
We've got a dog here distracting us now.
Yes. But but yeah, I'm not 100% sold on it. It's interesting because I'm like, even the Haas, I actually quite like the Haas. I find that I prefer the liveries of the lower budget teams, which is interesting, and the lower performing teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
They've even increased the weight.
Yes.
And a lot of people did less paint.
Yes. Yeah, I did see that. Oh, also Aston Martin. Why did they?
Oh, they come out in helmets?
They looked like Daft Punk.
I know, it was a really poor attempt at Daft Punk.
Really poor attempt at Daft Punk. Yeah, this is the thing where I think there was a lot of hype around it. There was some great moments. There was some interesting moments, but I actually, like, upon reflection, I think I felt more excited seeing individual team launches and also like having the dates staggered as opposed to just the one day. So yeah, I did find it a bit anticlimactic, but there were great moments, and yeah, that's my take. And Elle's just basically making out with Merlin right now.
All right, I think we leave it there. We're getting distracted by the dog.
We are getting distracted.
A quick little tidbit for you this week.
Yes, because and for those that haven't listened, we did have our regular episode this is our regular episode, but we kind of wanted to...
We flipped it.
Huh?
We flipped it.
Yeah, we flipped it because we wanted to get in with 75 Live. We wanted to get in. And on Wednesday, we did launch a very exciting episode where we interviewed, for those that haven't listened, we interviewed Theo from Cadora. Cadora is an AI company, and they are doing really exciting things in the F1 world, in the motorsport world. Sorry.
Yeah, it's actually quite an interesting conversation, AI in sport in general. So love you guys to join in on the conversation in that, and let us know what you think about it, and if you want to hear more about that sort of information in tech.
Yes, but we also have a very exciting interview today. So,
we've got to go film that.
But thanks for listening, guys. And
if you've liked this episode, please subscribe. Give us a like. Leave us a review as well. It just really helps us with our rankings and putting out content.
And also, we do say this, but we like to know what you guys think, and
and what you want to hear.
Yes, and what you want to hear, and maybe what you'd like, what you don't like.
All right.
See you next week.
Soon.
Bye.